Hi everyone, it's been quite a long time since I last did a proper video, so I thought I'd just take some time today to do a bit of filming. Emmy's inside helping Jem cook dinner. It's really muddy here, lots and lots of mud. I'd forgotten actually how muddy Wales is. There's just mud everywhere. So I'm going to do some cleaning up out here actually. I want to give the bank here a bit more definition by, I think it used to be, if you look closely, there used to be an edge, which I think is there. So I'm going to take all of this away and take it back to that edge, just to try and get rid of all this kind of sludge and mud and stuff. I'll just head up here and show you where I found that greenhouse, which actually I must admit I haven't done any more work on at all because, well, I'm just finding that I'm so busy at the moment with craft fairs that the garden is lacking a little bit. But I have to make sure that I take advantage. You see, there's the greenhouse, because I think what I'm going to find is that once the Christmas period is over, I'm assuming my craft business sales will fall, because a lot of people at the moment are buying Christmas fairies and little Christmas gnomes and little hanging tree ornaments and bookmarks as gifts, that kind of thing. That's what I'm finding I'm selling quite a lot of at the moment, and of course that will end soon, and then I'll be faced with no income for a little while. So I'm just trying to make the most of that for the moment. Oh, let me just listen a minute. I thought Emmy was calling me, but she's not. So once that period is over, then I think I'll be concentrating a little bit more on the garden again. Because these things, they go in phases, don't they? You know, there's seasons for everything, and at the moment I'm in crafting and selling season. Income season. And then I'll go back to gardening. I want to revive this bed here. It's got such potential to be so nice, and it's just not at the moment. I'm going to take you down to the river, because despite having said everything I just said, obviously it's still important to get that little bit of garden time every day, especially with Emmy. I like to get her outside every day, and so we've just been making small wins, small progress, which is fine. Sometimes that's how it is, we just take little steps of progress, and those little steps add up to something much bigger, and that's fine too. And we've been working down here a little bit. As you can see, the land down here is regenerating, even though it's winter. It's actually looking a lot greener than it used to. But you can also see that we've done a lot of clearing, and these are my bonfires that I've built. When I'm building them, this is a little bit geeky, but Lord of the Rings, with the fires of Rohan, with the beacons, always reminds me of that. So at some point in the spring, once all the hedgehogs have safely emerged and moved on, we'll be lighting our beacons and reenacting a Lord of the Rings scene. Always makes me laugh whenever I think of it. There's lots of signs of life down here actually. There's, as I've been clearing, there's lots of these little bulbs sprouting, which I have a feeling might be bluebells. We've definitely got bluebells. I mean, up in the woodland, it's a bluebell forest, so we've got loads and loads of bluebells up there. But I think there must be bluebells down here too. So we have to be a little bit careful not to disturb everything too much. And see that there's lots of mushrooms down here too, which is obviously really good for the soil. And this soil is trying to heal, as you know. If you haven't been following us for very long, for any new subscribers to the channel, this area of land was identified as having Japanese knotweed on it before we bought the house and the land. And the previous owners had it all sprayed with glyphosate, and unfortunately it had 2 applications, which of course just decimated all of the life down here. So when we moved here, it was to a very sad looking piece of land, which was just, empty of life basically, and just everything was dead. And so we're now just primarily we're trying to help the land clear itself of this horrible poison by collecting up all of the dead stems and burning them, just to help the soil to get it out of its system, rather than just letting it all rot on the soil and stay on top of the soil. That's my logic anyway. I don't know if that's the right way to deal with it, but that's my logic at the moment. Just help it to heal. There's still a lot of Japanese knotweed down there, which they didn't reach with the sprayers. So that's going to need us to deal with it. And to be honest, there's loads of Japanese knotweed here too, because to be honest, the spraying has limited effect as far as I can see. As far as, my very small experience on this small piece of land, it hasn't really had that much effect. It all just grows back again. So maybe that's just because it had 2 applications, I'm not sure, but there we are. So we're going to try and deal with that organically. And we'll see how we go with managing it. You can see this tree just here, it's an older tree. And in fact, actually, I tell you something, this one, I think this one is the older. This one is a hazel, and they were both growing together from this central stump. And in all that terrible weather we had, where the river levels rose really high and it was going really fast, it took the hazel, look, and it snapped it. I don't know if you can see there at the base. Actually snapped it clean off, and it floated to there and then got caught on the riverbank. So we're going to be hauling that out, but there's also a tree over on that side, just there, and I don't know where that's come from, upstream somewhere. So we'll be hauling those out, but I think that'll probably be a spring job once the river has settled a little bit. I planted a weeping willow. I don't know if you remember, I planted a weeping willow in here a while ago now. There she is. She's still standing. I don't know if you can see her just there. It's hard to make her out, but she is there and she's surviving wonderfully. I'm hoping she'll make it, because I think she'll be rather beautiful there. I tell you what, I'm just going to pop over this stream. Now the terrain's a bit rough, so apologies if the camera goes a bit wobbly, but I don't think I've ever shown you down here before. And this is quite an interesting little piece of land. See, all this got sprayed. So I'll be clearing all of this. Here's my willow, I can show you now. I'm down here. Where is she? Get her in shot. Here she is. Beautiful girl. She's going to be very beautiful when she grows up. Oops. Just get rid of that Japanese knotweed skeleton. So yeah, there's this piece of land goes all the way down here. Oh look, there's rubbish everywhere. The previous occupant, or one of them, he apparently used to use this as his dumping ground for all of his rubbish. And you can tell because we have a lot of whiskey bottles. Scotch whiskey, it says on the top. There's another one just in there, you can see. Lots of glass bottles, lots of rubbish, lots of timber. Plus the fact that there's these enormous tree trunks, which are pines, because apparently, oh, look at that red kite. Can you see her? She's just gone down behind the trees. If she comes back, I'll zoom in. Apparently along the top ridge just here, just on this side of the track, used to be a big line of Leylandis, or pines, or one of the two, and they all got felled, and the big tree stumps are just laying here. Just laying here, you can see them in there, and let me tell you, they are quite mighty. They're very big. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with those. I'm sure we'll find a purpose for them. Now I'm not sure what this is. This is stone. I don't know what that is. That's going to need some investigation. That's some kind of stone structure there. Yeah. I've not noticed that before. I think where all the foliage is dying back, you can see more and more. Ah, look at that. All those lovely big tree trunks. Apparently the story goes, which is quite sad really, that the guy who used to live here before us couldn't get good television signal, and so he bought a sky dish, and he put the sky dish up on the side of his house, and he still couldn't get good television signal through that, and so he cut all the trees down so that he could get better signal. Oh, isn't it funny? Well, it's not funny, but you know, funny what people do to the land and to nature just for their own convenience. More rubbish. That looks like a steel bucket. Yeah, metal bucket. Lots more fallen timber in there. And you can see, I mean, a lot of this standing here is Japanese knotweed. A lot of it. But there are, like that one there is a tree. There's a little tree. You can't really see it on the camera, unfortunately. But trust me, there are some baby trees in here, and I want to be able to clear around them, you know, and give them a bit of breathing space so they have a bit of a chance of growing to some size. Now these are interesting, these trees here. Again, I think they might be older. But it's hard to tell because all the leaves have come off now. They look like they've been coppiced in the past, and look like they could do with another coppicing. So that may well be something I might get down here to do at some point. This is great. I've never actually been on this bit before. Look at this. This is uncharted territory. Look at this. Look at that tree. You can see it used to be a big Leylandi. And there's some little saplings in there which look to me like they're possibly willow, which is interesting. But I could be wrong. We've got a lot of sycamore, so quite difficult to tell when the saplings are so small. I think this is as far as I can go, actually. But just look at that. Look at all that clearing I've got to do. Ah! This place is like... it's so overwhelming. It's so overwhelming. The sheer amount of work. But it's also very exciting. I want to share a few things. If I can sit in front of the laptop tonight, I'll do it tonight. I want to share a few things that I'm reading and learning about at the moment. Because wherever I can, I'm always trying to read and learn. I am a collector of knowledge and books, much to my husband's dismay. I'm a bit of a book magpie, and I've been doing a lot of reading on permaculture. And permaculture is something that I did learn quite a bit about when I was living in London, but obviously had limited scope as to how to, use it on the tiny postage stamp sized garden that we used to have, which didn't stop me. I still did, but it was relatively limited. But you know what? I shouldn't say that, because permaculture is completely applicable to urban gardens and works beautifully. I think maybe my motivation wasn't in the right place, because I knew we were moving house, and so you don't have the same motivation, do you, as here. I know we're going to be here for a lifetime, so I don't mind spending time and energy on things. I think maybe that was the issue. Anyway, tangent. What was I actually saying? I was actually saying that I'm doing a lot of reading on permaculture at the moment, and learning some really interesting things about whole systems design, and learning about different components and how they can be linked together. So I would love to share some resources, just in case it's useful to anyone else. So I might do that later on this evening if I get a chance. Just look at that. Can you see? I don't know if you can see, but I have a vision in my head of how that could look if it was all tidied up and planted up really nicely. Just trying to get the picture to focus a bit better. This is water that's draining from somewhere on our land. This water is draining off. It could be down from the hill behind the house. We're not quite sure. Jem probably knows. I probably just need to ask him the question. But couldn't that make such a beautiful waterfall? And I have this vision in my head of what this is going to look like. We'll see how that turns out over the course of the winter and into the spring. This is more piles of rubbish. Yeah, there's wire. This is all rubbish that the previous guy dumped, and then everything's just grown out of it. I'm actually going to move because I'm stood right underneath the bird feeders, and I can see in the bushes all the little birds trying to eat their dinner, and I'm disturbing them. So I'll just come up here. Tell you what, we'll just go up and see the chickens, and then I'll have to go, because I've got a lot of chores to do before it gets dark. Here's our wood stack. Jem is keeping on top of it brilliantly, and we're working our way through. The stove is brilliant. We've finally cracked the heating situation, and now we are toasty warm all the time. It's such a relief. There they are. Beautiful red kites. Look. Can you see them? They're so hard to video. There's 2 of them circling around up there. My fingers are getting numb. Gosh, it's really cold here today. I don't know how it is in the rest of the the rest of the world, rest of the country. It's really cold here. Yeah, so glad we've sorted that stove out. There's our Christmas wreath that we made earlier, hanging on our door. I'm going to add to it over the course of the next month, because we'll try and do some other little decorations and hang stuff from it. Then this is the second one, which is equally as beautiful. You can't really see it down there, but I need to put a nail in the door so that I can hang it up. Isn't she gorgeous? Me and Emmy had the best time collecting foliage, all from our land. In fact, my mum, thank you mum, made the round willow wreaths. She made them for me a number of years ago actually, and each year I get them out and we decorate them. Oh, the chickens! These chickens have escaped! Girls! How did you get out? These chickens, let me tell you, these chickens are going rogue. They keep escaping from their run. I think they are so desperate to be free range, wild woodland chickens. They just keep escaping. Hello girls, it's lovely to see you. But why are you not in your run? Oops, brightness just went then. Cheeky girls. Look how happy they are. I love the chickens so much. I'm so glad we've got them back. The problem is if they keep escaping, I'm a little bit worried about Mr. Fox coming along, and these girls don't really know about Mr. Fox being London chickens who were mollycoddled and kept in, well, quite an enclosed space in a garden. Mollycoddled chickens. They have lots of cuddles, don't you girls? You love cuddles. Yes, you do. But Mr. Fox is around, especially at this time of night, girls. The sun's just going down. Let's go up and see. How did you escape? Did you make a hole? Did you make a hole? Come on, girls. Let's go up. Come on. Up we go. Come and show me. Show me the hole that you got through. Where did you get through, girlies? Look, they look like they've been out a while, because look, they've been turning over these leaves. Hey girls, did you get out of your run? You cheeky girls. Yeah, you cheeky girls. The worrying thing is that I have found a number of holes appearing in their netting, which looks to me like some Mr. Fox is trying to get in. Well, I can't see where they've got out of this time. You cheeky girls. Yeah. Well, I'll have a proper look later and see if I can find out where it was that they came out. But let me just show you down here, because there's one last thing I want to show you. Because we've got the chickens here now, I quite regularly, because I clean them out every day, need to get to and from the compost heap. And this is the shortest route down here. And so the other day, me and Emmy spent a wonderful hour or hour and a half clearing this bit here. And I know it doesn't look very much from this angle on the camera, but this is actually, we uncovered these little steps. It's very difficult. What I'll do is I'll go down them and then I'll show you from the other way. It's quite difficult to show you on the camera. Yeah, can you kind of see that? I know it takes a bit of imagination. Oh, there's a pigeon up in the trees. I'm just on the alert for foxes now because the girls are out. I know it takes a bit of imagination, but there used to be slate stone steps there. You can see that first one quite clearly, and then that's the second one, which has gone all wonky because this tree's grown from it, and then there is a third one in there which again is all disrupted from the tree, and this is like the side to the steps, see, and the other side presumably was the tree. Hey girl. So yeah, we've managed to just make them usable, so I can go up and down there now to the compost heap, which is just down there, so that's useful. And this was the old washing line. Can you see that white metal pole going up? And then can you see that wire coming down here? That's the wire, the washing line wire. So that'll be the next thing that I want to reinstate down this end of the garden, is a washing line. Hello? Are you looking for grubs? Yeah, looking for grubs and worms. Right, I'd better get these chickens back in before Mr. Fox decides that he's hungry and could do with some breakfast. But isn't it nice seeing them wild? Do you know, I can't get over it because these chickens, were bought from a pet shop in London. Poor little things. They were in a pet shop in Cruise Hill in London, and they were in a glass box. Me and Emmy went in and chose them. My heart went out to them because they were in a glass box. It was so sad. I know you shouldn't buy from places like that because it supports them and then they get more animals in, but I couldn't leave them there. And look what a life they've got now. Hi Gloria, this is Gloria. Sorry, there's a tractor coming past. That's why it's so noisy. There he goes. Tractor. But yeah, so I'm kind of glad we rescued them. And now they're living a wild, free life in Wales, in a woodland. Isn't that a funny life story? Anyway. Have a lovely evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Have a peaceful evening. And I'll speak to you next time. Bye!